Okay, so I'm going to talk about Defend Thy Keep, which is the working title for my current tower defense game I'm working on. I'm building this for the GDWC. I'm enrolled with Fathoms of Fear and Punch Trunk. I'm just going to keep kind of making games, whatever I basically developed this year. I'm going to be putting into that contest. This is kind of a developing concept right now. There's not too much. Like, it's pretty much got the whole vertical slice figured out. So it's automated. The enemies come in sort of like lemmings a little bit. It's a basic tower defense kind of setup where they come flooding in. You trigger your defenses. The difference being you don't actually get to place them stage to stage. You're basically looking at different parts of this big castle that you're kind of looking around. Picture Home Alone, right? But in medieval times, and you basically control all the tower's defenses. The idea I'm thinking is that you're going to be a wizard. It's basically Home Alone meets Saw. You're kind of like in a medieval castle. You got all these heroes who are storming and trying to siege all your gold out. You're sitting there just trying to pop off all the traps and letting your minions out. You got little defenders. You got two types of defenders. You got swordsmen and you got weird insect monster bugs. Now, right now, they're both mechanically similar, but the bugs do move a little faster. Either way, there are upgrades that I have turned on in the footage where if two enemies kind of lock on to a fight with a hero, one of them will kind of swoop around and kind of hit their flank and take them out much faster. Otherwise, you have kind of a randomized conflict going on. Basically, having these upgrades helps, defeat the heroes when the rushes start, because there'll be moments in the gameplay where basically they come flooding in at an accelerated rate, and you can very easily become overwhelmed. You have to stagger the crowd with different strategies. Like in some places, you can release minions to, thin the herd. In other places, you can kind of wait for a rush. I like to set people on fire in big rows, which they take damage over time. And then right as they're coming around the corner, I like to spike them. You can just let them drop, but it's just more fun to, get the double. You can combo up. You basically build up combos by, killing people in traps before the window closes. Like you'll see when you hit somebody, a little counter with a skull pops up in one corner. And what happens there is there's an invisible counter about 2.5 seconds that if you don't get another kill, the combo ends. But if you do, you can chain them together for a higher amount of XP reward. XP is something that kind of builds up over time and lets you unlock some of those perks and changes to gameplay, like allowing your minions to work together and allowing more minions. You'll see red lights above the door where the monsters and the minions come out. Those lights basically indicate how much stock you have for minions to use throughout the round. So when the red lights all go out, you're all out. And then you just have to rely on your traps. You'll notice the traps have cooldown meters. That's going to be another thing that you can, kind of level up, because as you advance, the amount of enemies that you have to defeat for each round is going to increase. What happens is they're stealing from you, and whatever you don't kill them to get back is gone. If you run out of money before all the stages are complete, it's game over. So what you want to do is keep as much as you can while earning as much in terms of kill combos so that you can basically kill more efficiently. Anyway, the game is looking pretty cool, and it's really satisfying on an element of sort of the anticipation. Like when you picture a conversation being had, like just sitting at a dinner table. I think it was Hitchcock who pitched this idea. It's a lot more exciting if we, the audience, know that under that table the whole time the conversation's going on, that they don't know that there's a bomb about to go off, but we do. And I think it's called dramatic irony, and there's elements of that, like when you're sitting on a trap and you're waiting for a big line of people coming into it, and the feeling just before you press that button down, like, oh, maybe I'll let this one go, and then take out all the buddies behind him, or whatever your strategy happens to be. So what you have is this rising tension that gets a release, and that's the gameplay. Like you just keep kind of having that in rapid fire, boom, 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 and it's really satisfying to kind of put together a plan rapidly on the fly and then have to execute it. Because it's one thing to know what you have to do. It's another thing to do it quick enough. You miss the timing by even a little bit, and suddenly that,
that saw blade you sent out, it's actually zigging and zagging between every single one of them because the interval leaves a gap and you miss the timing on it. So there's a skill-based element to, you play more of the levels, you get a feel for the rhythm of the traps and how things are used, and you constantly get like, new traps introduced so things don't get boring as things go on. And by the end, you got like 10, 15 levels with like 30 or 40 different kinds of traps, and it's, it comes and it goes, and I want it to not outstay its welcome, kind of be like it's sort of a palate cleanser for me on this attempt to sort of make this game development thing work. Anyway, I'm hoping it'll scratch the itch and be fun to play, so time will tell.